Welcome back to Behind the Curtain. You now know how to interview agents and what questions to ask to find a true advocate. But in an industry where incentives aren't always aligned with yours, it's just as critical to know the bright red flags that tell you it's time to run and run fast. Ignoring these signals can cost you thousands, derail your plan, and turn the home buying process into a complete nightmare. These aren't just minor annoyances, these are fundamental signs that an agent may not have your best interest at heart, lacks the competence to protect you, or is simply too focused on the transaction over your outcome. You need to spot these before you're locked into a contract with the wrong person, or worse, locked into a house you regret because you didn't have the right guidance. Let me tell you a quick story. I represented the seller, and the buyer on the other side of the transaction clearly did not want this house because they asked for things that are above and beyond what you would typically ask for during an inspection. Instead of exercising their right to terminate without cause, they asked for things that they didn't think the seller would agree to and a price that they didn't think the seller would agree to either. But the seller was desperate, they needed to get their capital back, and so they were willing to take a small loss at the price. Well, they did it again at the final walkthrough and said that the repairs were not adequate and brought an inspector, which is definitely their right, during the final walkthrough. And they asked to terminate again. But in our contract, the only option you have is to ask for repairs or concession, which my seller again agreed to do. And I know for a fact that that buyer is living in a house that they did not want because they were ready to let the property go and asked to be let out of the contract multiple times. But in the end, they closed. That's why it's important to pay close attention for any of these major red flags. We're going beyond the obvious to the subtle signs of transaction-focused agent versus a buyer-focused advocate. Red flag number one, they rush you into a buyer agency agreement. This is a classic. If an agent sends you a long-term buyer representation agreement immediately after your first phone call, your first showing, or even just a brief initial meeting, you should definitely run. A good agent takes time to understand your unique needs, educate you about the process, build rapport, and earn your trust before asking for a commitment that can tie you to them exclusively for months. Rushing the agreement isn't about serving you, it's about locking down their potential commission regardless of whether they're proven their value yet. Here's what to look for instead. Agents who offer a short trial period, 30 days, clearly explain the purpose and clauses of the agreement, and are comfortable discussing how the relationship works before pressuring you to sign a long-term contract. Or if you're not 100% sure about that agent, you can have a buyer agency agreement for property by property. Red flag number two, they can't explain their value beyond availability. Ask them directly, what specific value do you provide that justifies your fee? If their answer is generic fluff like I'm available 24/7, or I just love helping people, or I know the area, that's not value. Availability is basic expectation. Knowing the area is expected. Loving the job is nice, but doesn't save you money or avoid pitfalls. What to look for instead? An agent who talks strategy, who can articulate their process for market analysis, who discusses specific negotiation tactics they employ for buyers, who brings up potential challenges or scenarios you haven't even considered yet. Demonstrating foresight and expertise, you're hiring a strategic advisor and negotiator, not just an Uber driver who opens doors. Red flag number three, they're overly salesy about homes. When every single home they show you is described as a steal, perfect for you, amazing deal, are definitely going to sell fast, you're not working with an objective guide. You're working with a closer focused solely on getting you to make an offer. If you feel like your agent is selling you harder than they're scrutinizing the house with you, that's a major problem, especially when they avoid or minimize talking about crucial potential red flags like traffic noise, flood risk from Module 4 Video 2, potential issues visible during a showing, Module 4 Video 3, concerns raised in seller disclosure, Module 5 Video 2, or comparable neighborhood sales that don't actually support the listing price. Your agent should be your partner in critically evaluating a property, sometimes even slowing you down or pointing out negatives you missed, not just acting as a hype person. Red flag number four, they won't show you homes below a certain price or commission. This is a blunt display of prioritizing commission over your needs. If you state a budget, your true comfortable limit, Module 2, Video 3, but they consistently only send you listings above that number, their paycheck is dictating their search criteria, not your plan. Worse, some agents will refuse to show you for sale by owner homes or properties offering a low buyer side commission, even if that home is a perfect fit for your non-negotiables and your budget. Test this early. Ask upfront, will you help me buy any home that meets my criteria and budget, regardless of the sale price or commission offered to the buyer side agent? If they hesitate, get defensive, or give a conditional yes, keep looking. Your agent should be paid for representing you, not for hitting a price target or maximizing their individual cut, regardless of the home's availability. Red flag number 5, they dodge questions about commissions or fees. With the shift in how buyer agents are compensated, transparency here is non-negotiable. If an agent is vague, dismissive, or avoids clearly explaining what they charge you, if anything beyond the seller paid co-op fee, when your payment is due, what happens if the seller won't cover the full fee? And whether there are any extra junk transaction fees or admin charges from them or their brokerage, then you are heading into murky waters with a potentially hidden price tag. You need transparency, not tap dancing. Their compensation structure should be clear, upfront, and in writing, directly linked to the services that they provide to you. Red flag number 6, and I know this one all too well because I used to be on a large team. You never know who you're working with, the team shuffle. This is particularly common with large, high-volume teams. You might interview the lead agent, often the best salesperson, but after signing, you're passed off to junior agents for showings, transaction coordinators for paperwork, and different people handle different calls. You're not a lead to be shuffled. You're a client who hired a specific person or team for consistent service. Ask upfront and get it in writing. Will you, the agent's name, be my primary point of contact and be personally representing me from our first showing to closing day? Understand who does what on the team, but ensure the person you hired is the one delivering the core service and the strategic guidance you expect. Red flag number 7, they offer too good to be true perks or promises. Free home warranties, promises of cash back at closing, exclusive access to non-MLS homes, often just coming soon listings you'd see anyway. These sound great, but are frequently marketing gimmicks used to distract from average service, justify higher fees elsewhere, or push you into using affiliated businesses. Some brokers even mandate you use their in-house lender, inspector, or title company in exchange for a supposed deal or perk. Be wary of perks that come with fine print or steer you to required vendors. These bundled services almost always benefit the agent or brokerage financially more than they benefit you, potentially compromising your ability to shop for the best rates or get an independent inspection. Your best perk is unbiased, expert representation that saves you thousands through smart strategy and negotiation, not gift certificates. Red flag number 8, they never talk about exit clauses in the buyer agreement. This is huge. It's surprising how many buyers sign a 6-month or 12-month exclusive buyer agreement without asking, what happens if this isn't working? And I want to terminate our agreement. Some agents deliberately make it difficult to leave, bury clauses that make you potentially liable for commission, even if you find a house on your own or buy through a different agent during the contract term. Red flag number 9, they're inexperienced but won't admit it or lack support. Everyone starts somewhere in real estate. I know I did, but an agent who just got their license last month and pretends to be a seasoned expert is a danger to your transaction. Buying a home involves complex contracts, negotiations, and problem solving that requires experience. There's a difference between an inexperienced agent who is transparent about it and part of a strong, accessible mentorship program or team where you can access the mentor's expertise, and an inexperienced agent who is overconfident or operating without adequate support. You shouldn't be anyone's test client on your largest investment. Look for agents who are either experienced and have a proven track record, like helping over 70 families last year, this guy, or are new but aligned with a successful mentor or team leader who's experienced, you can directly access, and who will be involved behind the scenes. Red flag number 10, and I think some people aren't going to like this, but they never say no to you or challenge your thinking. The reality is you're not the expert. That's why you're hiring them. This might sound counterintuitive, but a truly great agent advocate will sometimes disagree with you. They will tell you when you're getting emotional or considering overpaying. They will caution you when a house has significant red flags you're overlooking. Module 4, Video 3, and Module 6, they will tell you if your negotiation strategy is unrealistic. Module 5, they will give you the hard truth you need to hear, even if they are difficult. If your agent only ever agrees with you, only ever says what they think you want to hear, never pushes back, cautions, or offers a differing perspective based on market reality or potential risks, they are not acting as a strategic advisor. They are a passenger, simply following your lead, and passengers don't protect you when things go sideways in a complex transaction. An advocate helps you make the best decision, even if it's not the easiest or fastest one. Beyond these specific red flags, pay close attention to how agents handle more insightful questions designed to reveal their true understanding and buyer-centric approach. Understanding the process from the buyer's perspective, truly walking in your shoes, is a hallmark of an ideal agent advocate. These questions are designed to help you uncover which agents genuinely possess that empathy and understanding versus those who are just going through the motions of the transactions and ready to collect a paycheck at closing. So let's get into the bonus questions that are going to really reveal some things that you maybe haven't thought about. Bonus question number 11, when was the last time you potentially bought a house? Why it's insightful. The process has changed even in recent years. An agent who has recently gone through the buyer experience themselves, navigating current market conditions, dealing with lenders as borrowers, experiencing that emotional roller coaster firsthand, often has a deeper empathy and understanding of the challenges that you're going to face. If you haven't bought in decades or never, in their perspective might be truly transactional. Ask for specific. What is a hot market? What was the hardest part as the buyer? Here's what to listen for. You don't just want the date. You want to know their experience. You want to hear them describe it. Do they talk about the challenges, what they learned as a buyer, how it influences how they work with clients now? Do they show genuine empathy for the buyer side? Because this can be an emotional roller coaster when you're buying a house. Bonus question number 12, describe a time you advised the buyer not to buy a specific house and why. Here's why it's insightful. This test, if they prioritize your best interest over their commission, a transaction-focused agent pushes any deal. An advocate is willing to walk away from a paycheck to save you from a bad investment and get back in the car and start showing you houses again. Here's what you want to listen for, a clear, specific example where they identified significant red flags, the condition, location, legal issues with title, or a fundamental mismatch with the buyer's plan and recommended walking away, even if the buyer was emotionally attached to the house. This is a red flag if they can't think of an example, or if their examples are only about truly catastrophic, obvious issues. The foundation was falling apart. Listen for their reasoning. Was it based on your criteria/risk or just an obvious problem? Bonus number 13, what's the biggest mistake you see buyers make and how do you help your clients avoid it? Here's why this one is really insightful. This reveals their perspective on buyer vulnerability and whether they have proactive strategies to educate and protect. It tests if they understand where buyers are most at risk, often due to the system's design. What you should be hearing, answers related to overpaying, skipping inspection, emotional decisions, misunderstanding contracts, or not having a clear plan. Then listen for specific, actionable steps they take with their clients proactively to prevent this mistake, not just generic advice they give after the fact. Bonus number 14, and this is going to be applied to every showing that you go into. How do you approach spotting potential issues for the buyer during a showing beyond just pointing out nice features? Here's why it's insightful. This probes their understanding of key agent value add. Module 4, are they looking for signs of water damage, foundation issues, old systems, or just letting you wander around the house? What you want to hear, specific things they look for: ceilings, walls, windows, visible mechanics, their process for highlighting concerns, and how they differentiate between cosmetic flaws versus potential deal breakers that need professional inspection. An experienced agent advocate is going to be able to tell you 90% of what an inspection is going to show you, because for the most part, they're going to be obvious. They should be able to show you, hey, this panel is bad. This property has cast iron based on the year it was built. It looks like the sewer lateral was replaced. The HVAC system is X years old. The compressor outside is 15 years old. An agent should be able to show you all of these things, and the inspection is really designed to help you see things that you can't observe during the showing, and we'll get into that in the inspection module. Because understanding the process from the buyer's perspective, truly walking in your shoes, is the hallmark of an ideal agent advocate. These bonus questions are designed to help you uncover which agents genuinely possess that empathy and understanding versus those who are just going through the motions of the transactions and they want to collect a paycheck at closing. The quality of their answers and their willingness to answer honestly will speak volumes. Spotting red flags isn't about suspicion. It's about strategic self-protection. It's using your informed perspective to choose a partner who will genuinely represent your interest in a system often designed to do the opposite. Armed with this knowledge, you are exponentially less likely to fall victim to a bad agent. Here's your homework based on these red flags and bonus questions. If you're already working with an agent or considering one, go back and evaluate them against these points. Ask them some of these specific questions. Watch how they respond. If you see multiple red flags or you don't get satisfying answers that demonstrate buyer-centric thinking, it's a clear sign you might need a different advocate. In the next video, we're getting even deeper into specific sales tactics that agents and their brokerages use to steer, influence, and even pressure buyers during the home search process. We touched on urgency and salesiness here, but we'll break down the specific plays you need to recognize and disarm.